Welcome back to Miles from Ordinary with me, Jess.
And me, Bex Milnes. We're back.
I know, apologies, it's my fault. Well, we are actually recording. I still don't have Wi-Fi, and it'll be 10 days since we moved in.
It feels like we've taken months off the podcast. I was even just logging in. I was like, "What? It's been a while since we've done that." When the reality is, it's not really, but it just feels like we've not done it in ages.
I know, because we did 2 back to back quite quickly, didn't we? And then I said to you, we should have held off for the posting it. We posted it straight away, didn't we? And I was like, wow, we should have just prolonged it a bit, and then it wouldn't have seemed as bad. But we just don't think things through, because it was Sam last time we were on podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had loads of good feedback from that podcast. Actually, a lot of people loving
Did
Sam.
You?
Yeah.
Did you? Go on, Sam. Oh, yeah. That's nice. He's a nice lad, isn't he?
He is. He's welcome back anytime. So yeah, a lot of people enjoyed that.
I saw he did his first run session yesterday or something. He said. So he's back in action. He'll be racing next week.
Yeah, he looked like I saw the same. Was it story or post? And I was like, he looks good.
I know. He'll perform next week. Don't worry about it. That's what he's like. Just one session to get the feeling. Right, I'm ready.
Can you imagine if that was reality for people? Like, he's a special breed of human, that guy.
He is. He's very talented. Yeah, if only we could all be like that, it would be so much easier. That's why he deals with injuries so well. If he had to come back like the rest of us, he'd be like, not another. But it was nice to see him back. So what have you been doing since our
hiatus? Yeah, our hiatus. Well, probably not as exciting as you, to be fair. I am interested to hear how it's all gone. But I've just been trying to make the most of the fact that we're approaching autumn. So I've been out in the van most weekends. I went to the Peaks, actually, for a full weekend last weekend. And I know I'm back. I thought my screen had frozen.
It did.
It did. was it a flattering angle?
It's fine. He stopped on a really nice shot, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it did. Yeah. But yeah, I went to the Peaks and I thought I'd take Poppy and just again get her used to more miles with more smiles. She was absolutely loving life. But we did a bit of a tour. So on the Friday, after work, I drove over to the Roaches. Have you ever been? It's over like the east side of the Peaks.
East side,
near Leek.
Yeah.
It was really lovely, actually. Really nice, very runnable. So we did a run there on the Saturday, and then I drove over to the west side. For like the rest of the Saturday, and then Sunday I did a walk with my parents and then met some friends. So it was a lovely weekend, and I just really enjoyed both campsites that I stayed in overnight had no phone signal, and I was just like loving life.
Are you joking, aren't you? That's what I've been hating. I mean, it's all right for a day or two, but not much longer. It just gets annoying.
Well, you're actually trying to do stuff, but I was like, you know, when you physically can't do anything, so you're just like, oh well, there we go, happy days.
Off grid.
Off grid, yeah.
That's most places like that are nice have got no signal, which is double win, isn't it? Going out into the sticks and then enjoying yourself.
I just love the people that you see. You know, like whenever I go to the Peaks, there's always a mix of people, like loads of climbers. I've never seen anything like it on the Sunday. I was up on Stanage Edge, loads of climbers everywhere. But on the Saturday morning, I was out running pretty early, and I was one of the first up on the ridge. And in the distance, I could see this woman with what looked like a massive backpack. And as I got closer, I realised she got a child on her back.
Oh,
and I kind of was walking with her for a bit, just chatting. And she had an 18-month-old that she just had woken up early. She couldn't get it to sleep, so she just decided to go on a 10-mile walk with this kid. And it was fast asleep. in the carrier, and off she went. And I just thought, brilliant. Like, that's the way to do it.
That is Fred, and they love it as well. They just love sitting there, just looking around, which you wouldn't think, would you? Think they'd get bored after a while, but they actually don't. They love it.
Yeah.
Talking of climbing, that was the last time we spoke as well. Those climbers have gone missing, haven't they? That really. Do you know when something just takes over it takes over your social media because you click on it, but then it just like took over my brain. I just couldn't believe, when I've watched that 13 Peaks, but I'm not really into knowing about mountains, and certainly the one that they were climbing. But I don't know, it not touched me, but when you just think that is awful, that you can just be climbing a mountain and all of a sudden there's just an avalanche and that's it. And they fell so far, like when they tell you they've looked into all sorts, and the GPS of how far they fell was unbelievable. And I just think, oh my God, it's awful. So it was so sad because obviously at first they weren't sure that they died, and then eventually they find the bodies and stuff. It's so traumatizing.
Yeah, but I think it's even in the Peak District, and that's not technical at all. But I've been caught out a couple of times up on the hills or whatever, and you think, like I'm a fairly fit, healthy person, but yeah, it's really easy to get yourself into trouble, and not many people anticipate that being the case.
Not all. I would say Peaks is one of the worst for people going up in like Converse. And just like not equipped at all. The amount of people I see, I don't know if it's because there's trains from Manchester. Not saying that it's just all Manx. It's just everyone from Manchester. But these people that work in the city that they can then just get a train, get to the peaks and walk. There's not many places you can just do that. So I just don't know if it's that. But every time I go walking, I'm more and more shocked by how the lack of equipment and stuff people have, and they're just roaming up terrain. Absolute confidence. I love it. I would just love to have so much confidence. Just so blasé about it.
It's when you go up to like the lakes in Helvellyn on a bank holiday weekend, and it's the same thing. You're walking up, and it's Helvellyn's a nice climb, but it's technical towards the top, and you see people just like, it's crazy.
Not like you though. You've got all the gear.
Oh yeah, life raft a lot. But yeah, anyway, come on. How's it all been? How's the move? Are we settled in the mansion?
Yeah, it's not a mansion to start, but I can't believe it went through. Like I've said before, it's one of those things now that I can't really mention it because we had a very smooth journey in the end. I know we had a few people pull out and stuff, but actually there were one guy in the house, the guy that we were buying off. He was the one that originally said 10th of August. Let's everyone just go for that. And John were like, these guys are right, a hero. Can you imagine just being the chain, just going, right, everybody, 10th. Let's go for it. Because I remember thinking, has he got any like reasoning behind this? Can he be sorted by the 10th or whatever? And anyway, it turns out it worked out perfectly and we moved. So we went for the removal companies, which was expensive, but it was like the best money we've ever spent. Because all we did I felt like a spare part. Because we'd boxed everything up, they just took everything, and all we did was like clean all the rooms and stuff in between. I felt like I left it in like a palace because I had nothing else to do, which I do think is really good. I think if you're somebody that moves out of a house and don't clean it before, I think you really go down in my estimation. Because I think when somebody's moving into the house, if you get like we've had it before with the house we moved into. There was still, when we got the keys, they were still there. Like when it were our time to move in, and I think we spoke about it before, haven't we? They still had like pictures on the wall and stuff, and it won't clean at all because obviously they're not going to clean it if they've not even bloody emptied it.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so sad, isn't it? People move into a new house. You want it to be like really quite
Special.
exciting, yeah,
Mm.
rather than just going. "Gugh." So we cleaned it all, and yeah, it went smooth. We got the keys pretty early, about 11 o'clock or something, which is
Oh,
again is
wow.
ridiculous. I know, and we were all moved in and sorted by like 3-4 o'clock. It was
Don't.
brilliant.
That just doesn't happen. Like, I called you the day after. I think it was the day after, wasn't it?
Mm.
Expecting you to be like, look a bit flustered and a bit kind of, yeah, just up against it. And they're there having drinks in the garden and all unpacked. It just, it's like, whoa, come on.
I know. I mean, it were a bit of a bomb site, but we were. Do you know when you just think, thank God, because there's no time pressure then. It's like you get
Mm.
in, and there's nothing that needs to be done right now because you have so much to do before the 10th. It's right stressful, and then you get in and you think, well, it's a bomb site, but I don't care.
Yeah, we're
And
here.
yeah, and we got in before the baby, which was also another plus.
Yeah.
Um, so it all went pretty smooth, and we're very happy with our purchase. And they were
Good.
because like prior, you do worry a bit, don't you? Because you only look around it once. We've said this
Mm.
before, haven't we? I've told you about John and how he can't make decisions. He's terrible,
Yeah.
and he has to research everything. Like even the day after we got in that night, we were looking at mops, and it took him ages to figure out which mop to buy. Like, we have literally looked around this house once and bought it. So when you're waiting to see it, you just always have doubt, don't you? Because you think, God, did we notice everything? But anyway, we're quite happy with it. So, very happy with it. And it's
Good.
it's about half an hour from where we were previously. So it's a bit of a move, but I think the main thing is it's going to be great for Fred and the baby girl. That's our main reason for moving there because it'll be so
Yeah.
good for them, parks and surrounding areas. Because it's a new building. We never thought when we first started looking for houses that we'd buy a new build. And it's so funny how all your expectations and what you think you want after looking around other houses, it just slowly changes. And then you're like, actually, like the location's changed, the type of house has changed, everything else. It's bizarre. And it just makes you think you need to make sure you look around a few.
Yeah. Which
But
you
yeah,
did.
we did. And we did take 3 months to find one. We were the weak link in the bloody chain. Took us 3 months to find one. Very picky.
And speaking of baby, I saw on Strava, and
Yeah.
so 37 weeks at the end of this week, is it? Did you say?
Yeah.
And I see this 2 hour, 20-minute run crop up. I'm sorry, what?
I got a voice note from Georgia saying, I've seen you run on Strava, and I just thought to myself, a perfect time to start up in the training. She was like, "You're a psycho." And I said, "Well, it doesn't tell the full story because I've been at home, I've not been running with my watch. So I haven't had anything on Strava. But then because I've moved house, I'm exploring new routes. So I've used the Strava app to like get routes
Plot
or
it.
whatever. And then I dropped the car off on Monday to get fixed, and I thought I'll just go for a run. And when you just accidentally do a route that's too far.
I mean, there's too far, and then there's 2 hours and 20
Do you
minutes.
know what? It wasn't even bad. And it didn't even feel like 2.5 hours. I think I'd hardly had any breakfast either because I'm not eating very well either. But I felt fine. It's funny, isn't it? But the amount of looks I get, honest to God, even on that run, there was some pensioners at the bus stop that just absolutely give me the death stare. And I feel like stopping and saying, "Have you not seen the new research?" And you're fuming, just leave me alone. I can just see it in their eyes that they're just like, that is disgraceful.
The judgment.
I know. Well, I went into drop Fred at nursery actually, and the women behind the nursery said, "Oh, you're not going for out on your bike, are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm actually going for a run." They were like, "You are joking." I think it's more not because I'm 37 weeks or whatever. It's because I'm actually quite big. So I think it looks bad. And then when I came back, she was like, "How was your run?" I was like, "Don't ask." I thought I can't tell him. Yeah, just the 2.5 hours it was in the end. But I've actually been running consistently, but I've just not recorded it, so that's why. So, because Georgia were like, "No wonder your calves go because you do stupid stuff like that."
Ironically, when you're pregnant, that's where you're most consistent in your running.
I was going to say that to John the other day. I thought I just need to be pregnant all the time, mate, because I'm just so consistent. But it's probably because I'm not doing anything else, like the swimming.
Probably.
We need to talk about the swimming.
Yes.
And the comeback. What am I going to do?
So, when was the last time you swam?
Like January.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 7 months ago now.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to document the return and how it goes.
I think we should have a sweepstake amongst the listeners to predict how long it's going to take
Yeah.
to regain fitness. How long does it take for Jess Learmonth to go 7 months of no swimming to a what should we say, like a 430, 400?
Yeah, something like that, maybe. Oh, God, I think... I don't... Do you know, at the minute, I'm feeling pretty confident because I've not been in the pool.
Yeah, I'll knock that out in a few weeks.
But I think if I get back into swimming, I think I'll soon figure that it's going to be harder than that. Because I don't think I've done this since I quit swimming when I was 16. And I did that was excessive. I had about 5 years or 6 years out of the pool. So in that regard, it's actually not that long at all.
Yeah, a few months, you'll be absolutely fine. So,
Yeah.
what's your strategy? What are we thinking?
I was thinking well, obviously I'd be coming back from childbirth. So that's not great. But my arms are definitely flabby bingo wings. You know, like on Bo Selector. Do you remember Bo Selector with Mel B? That's what I'm like with flabby bingo wings. I've lost a lot of tone in the arms. And this is what made me think. I saw in the mirror the other day, like whenever I had my arms down, I could like see like cellulite here on my arms, and I thought that is not good. I know I'm pregnant, but that's not to do with pregnancy. That's to do with the fact that I've not used my arms in 7 months.
So wait, hang on. The motivation for getting back swimming is not necessarily to become a professional athlete again. It's to get rid of the bingo wings.
Yeah. Well, it was more the fact that because the 7 months has gone so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is what made me work it out, and I thought, hang on a minute, this is far too long, and I can quite see in my arms that they're deteriorating.
They're disappearing before my eyes.
Yeah, and I need to do something about it. So there's a bit of that, but also then I think back to I didn't walk for 6 months, so I lost loads of tone in my right leg. Were literally so skinny, it was disgusting. Because at least I'm in proportion. I've got both arms there, whereas that one we're just wasting away on its own. I'm walking around in circles. Whereas now I've got 2 arms that are like losing all the tone. So I just think muscle memory is a great thing in it, Bex. It'll be fine. So I'm going to go with post-pregnancy. I might even start it soon, the return.
As in before you've given birth?
Maybe. I don't know. I'll see how much time I've got. But maybe. To then make sure it's not too bad. But I'm going to feel weird anyway because of the giving birth and body position and stuff. And my core, etc. Which did take a bit of time last time, actually. I didn't think of that. So I was just going to do aerobic base for about 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Which will be the most boring thing in the world. But I'm going to have to do it. And do you know what? I've been loving life, so I can't. I'm just going to have to grin and bear it. And then I'm going to start with VO2 because it's shorter. And then I'll land for Sheldon. And then
Like,
that'll be it.
simple.
I reckon I'll be back at it in 3 months.
Can I just say, if you make it 8 weeks of just aerobic swimming, I will.
I know.
I would
You
bet
have.
my house on the fact that you get a few weeks in and you'll be thresholding straight away. You won't have the
Yeah, because
patience for that.
it's more entertaining. Isn't it? That's the thing. If you do a session, how much quicker does it go than doing aerobic? It's so
Yeah,
much better, isn't it?
yeah. And
So
I just
that's
think back
probably
to COVID times when all the pools were locked down, and as being in a federation program, you got special dispensation to be able to swim,
you did
and we only had Loughborough as a pool, a national centre that you could swim in. So you were travelling each
from
week to Loughborough
Leeds.
to swim, from Leeds
Can you
to swim.
believe that?
And
Crazy.
all my memory is like most people have been out the pool for a good kind of 4 to 6 weeks, which is still a substantial amount of time. So everybody's getting in a bit tentatively, 50s, bills, technique. And you look over the corner and there's just Jess smashing it, absolutely smashing it from warm up to finish every single session.
I know. Well, because we had 2 hours, I think, as well, did we? We're at a 2 hour slot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just remember just doing loads. I remember warming up and then I'd do like a K or even more maybe of band only. Like you do. And then I'd just do like an hour threshold. I'd just literally go up and down. I do remember you being on the side just saying, are you going to have a rest? Because you were there, weren't you, at time? And yeah. That were back in the day. I was obviously highly motivated. Do you know what I had at the time as well? I was testing out those thingy goggles.
The form goggles.
Yeah, I was testing out those so I could see what times they were doing as well. And I remember being fuming because I was really slow.
I was just spurring her on. She was just like a little wind-up frog. Let go.
I know. That's what I was saying. It's so funny that I hate swimming because actually when I swam in the squad before Fred, me and Sam were like the only ones that did 6-7 Ks and sets and stuff. Everyone else just got out. I were like the keen bean that'd stay in. I mean, how things have changed. That's what's happened. I've burnt myself out in swimming.
Now it's a race to 3K and out.
Yeah. But the comeback on the bike's the same as well because we've moved and I'm not riding outside. I haven't been turboing either. So I'm just deteriorating constantly. But hey ho, we'll have to document the return and see how we get on.
Yeah. I'll be
fine.
fascinated to hear how that goes. But there's a bit of time between that happening, isn't there? Surely, like you can't just give birth and then crack.
Yeah. No, there's loads of time. That's what I'm thinking. And this is what I was thinking the other day when the bloody doorbell rang in the early hours of the morning. It was drugs testers. Bex. I couldn't believe it. The funny thing is, the doorbell had actually broken the day before. So we just got into this house, and Fred, he's annoying because he's like me, and it's annoying. So I'm really heavy-handed. You know, John calls me Lenny from Mice of Men.
Mice of Men.
He is just the same. So he's right heavy-handed with everything. He breaks everything. I just think, God, it's so annoying. But then I can't be annoyed because it's my fault, because I'm the same. It must be John that's just constantly annoyed. He always says that he's only good at fixing things because he lives with me. Anyway, Fred would just ding doorbell. You know, like when it's a new thing, he's just like ding, 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 ding. Spring came out. Oh, brilliant. Anyway, obviously I wasn't thinking about drug tests turning up. So anyway, next thing, bloody doorbell dinged the next night. And I thought, that's weird. Have I just misheard that? Because I obviously thought it was broken.
What time are we talking? Middle of the night or early hours?
No, like 5. I think it's 5, my hour. And you know when you think, have I misheard that? John didn't move. So I was like, is that who I think it is? Because when somebody knocks at your door at that time, you know it's them, like straight away, obviously. Looked, and then I couldn't see them because of the house. There was like a little, what do you call it? Like a bay. So anyway, I'm going to have to put my dressing gown on because I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I don't own pajamas. I don't know if that's a bit too much information. And is that a normal thing? Do you wear pajamas?
No.
You don't? Okay, that's fine. That's all right. So it's always a bit of a, like, I can't really go to the door naked. So I'm there trying to find my bloody dressing gown to put on to go down. And it's awful, isn't it? Because you're like half asleep and you look dog rough and then you're opening the door. So I opened the door and they just looked at me and just went, what are we doing here? I'm just like a house sign, just like big belly. And I was like, I know, what are you doing here? And they were like, honest to God, I didn't know you were pregnant. And I'm like, yeah. I said, I'm not far from giving birth. And they were like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Because the nice thing is, because I've been on drugs testing so long, I know most of them that come.
Yeah.
Like the local art, and they're really nice. To be fair, I actually get on with them really well. So it was quite nice to see them to have a catch up. but maybe not at that time in the morning. So they were like, "Oh yeah, it's blood, passport, and urine." I thought, you are joking.
Oh no, not the needles.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna have to lay down, because I get out of the habit of it because I'm a fainter, aren't I? Anyway, that went fine. She's really good at it, to be fair. But I just thought, am I just out of the loop? Are people like doping at 37 weeks pregnant? Or is it me? Am I like deluded thinking that people wouldn't do that? But who's going to do that with a human in your body? And the funny thing is, I'm not good, like we've just discussed, I'm not going to be racing anytime soon. I've not raced all season. Why are they coming to my house?
That is bizarre. They must have gone, new address. Let's see what she's up to.
Yeah, they must have just been wanting to see the house, which is fair enough.
It is a palace.
It's really not. But I just think, I don't know. It baffles me. I just think there's definitely other athletes that they should be testing than me. But I mean, I don't really mind. But at the same time, I didn't think it were ridiculous.
Yeah, and for them as well, because I'm imagining it's not local for them. They've got, if they're seeing you at 5 a.m., they've got to be up at a few hours before that. Yeah.
It's so bizarre. It's honestly so bizarre. And they know that I'm pregnant because last time they tested me, I was pregnant. So I had to put on the form, I'm pregnant, because obviously my bloods will be different.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Anyway, whatever. I just thought, Christ, I've still got it. They're obviously scared that I'm going to come back. Yeah, listen to the podcast. They'll be like, she had bloody swam in 7 months, that one. She's got no chance.
Just send them the link and be like, look, if you really want to know what's going on, this is the place to get the info.
Well, exactly. They were like, I could tell, they could just tell that I'd not trained as well. Because they're like, you look really well. I thought, yeah, I know what you mean. I look massive. And I've got flabby bingo wings. I think she was trying to tell me that, but she didn't say it in a roundabout way. She just said, you look well. I thought, well, I don't look well because the growth of these eyelashes.
Yeah, where are we at with that?
Nowhere near. I put some, tried to put some mascara on today. Unbelievable. It's not even moved. And then my auntie took a picture of me the day that we moved house, and I just have no eyebrows. I've actually tried to put some on today to make it look a bit better, but I'm not one for drawing them on. I'm no artist, and it looks terrible.
It is Mission Impossible. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But
so I'm not happy at the growth at all. It's a shame, really.
It is what it is. You're just going to have to grin and bear it.
Moving on, what have you been watching? Did you watch the Europeans?
I was loving the athletics. It was so good. And obviously being in Birmingham, I coach an athlete that lives in Birmingham, and she's a regular listener to the podcast as well, Rachel. She was saying it was brilliant because all her run routes were down the canal, and I think a lot of the athletes were staying on the university campus. So she'd like go out for an evening run, and there'd be, all the elite athletes just jogging about the place. So she said it was really good fun.
I've been down that canal actually, done a session down it with me and Georgia did a massage course in Birmingham randomly. Funnily enough, we never actually did the exam because we were racing all the time, so that was totally pointless. But I did enjoy going down that canal. It's nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's good little. Yeah, it's good. It's good running around Birmingham. To be fair, so
Well,
yeah, yeah.
the marathon were really short laps, weren't it? Do you see that?
No, I didn't watch the marathon actually. Did it
Oh,
go
didn't
around the
you?
city centre?
Yeah, but I can't remember how short the loops were. And God, can't remember her nationality now. Was she Swedish or Finnish? The girl that won the marathon, she went off like a rocket on her own and then just won it.
Really, fair play
Yeah,
on a
I
marathon as
know.
well.
Yeah, she went off. I can't remember. They went out in like 16 something, didn't they, for the first 5K? I was like, oh, that is fast. But yeah, I do enjoy. I just like coming home and watching athletics on an evening. It's quite relaxing.
It is.
But
It's
apart from
yeah. I could listen to the commentary all night. Like it's good.
yeah, I agree. I like it. The only thing I'm not keen on is the throwing events. It does.
Oh,
I know. I feel really mean because I know that endurance sport, they must think, why would you do that? You know, just running around all the time, running around a track or whatever, running around loops for a marathon, boring. But when I see the javelin, I just think, I just don't know. I couldn't go and just be really passionate about throwing a javelin.
yeah, but when you watch it live and you see how far they throw, you
I
think
know.
fair
No,
play.
yeah, that's the thing because that guy, he was a German. He broke Steve's record, didn't he?
Mm, yeah,
And you watch it and you just go, oh, gee, that is far. But
yeah.
still, I just think, no, I just can't. Just can't get excited about it.
Did you get
I'm always,
excited about the women's 800? It was quite nice to have that as like that was almost like the talking point of the whole championships, wasn't it?
yeah, was that the one that Georgia Bell won? No,
She
that
won the
was Steve.
15. The 15
Who
that
was
was an
yeah.
absolute masterclass in terms of 1500-meter running. The way she ran that, she made it look so easy, but it was so done so tactically well. It was brilliant. But the 800 was Keely Hodgkinson and Wiro and Femke Bol. She's not Femke Bol anymore. She's got
I didn't
married.
even
But
see that one, you know. I don't think I saw the
that was
800.
the main event.
I don't think I saw it.
Oh, you'll have to go back and watch it because Wiro went. They went through the heats and the semis, and in the semis, Wiro, I think I'm pronouncing her name right. She
Oh, I
fell.
did watch it. I did watch it. Of course I did. She fell. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
then
Cut that out.
she appealed, and then got into the final,
She
and then
did
it
and
was
won
like
it.
won
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
And she ran it a bit like Keely would.
mm,
Just
yeah,
confident. I'm running front. Come round me. Good luck.
yeah, exactly.
And that's what I think with Georgia Bell. She makes it look easy and tactically astute because you're that fit.
You're just
I
that
always
good.
think people that are so they seem like they're doing the right thing in the race. It's usually because they're the fittest. Because they can
Yeah,
adapt to everything. It doesn't
yeah,
matter because they're just not unbeatable. But when you're that fit, it doesn't matter which way you go out. If you go out too hard, if you go out, you're gonna do well. And I think that's the
yeah.
same.
Who's the best tactical triathlete that you've come across outside of yourself, of course?
Obviously, probably Alistair easily. He must be up there. Females. I would probably say Flora. I'd say George is pretty good as well. What about you? Who do you think?
I always remember having a conversation with Reese about Vicky,
Oh
and
yeah, Vicky. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
he basically said that kind of similar to your point of the people that make it look easier generally because they're the fittest. He was talking about her early career and how she's always been pretty tactically astute. But if you watched her earlier racing when she wasn't as fit, she kind of knew where she needed to be but couldn't get there. And then as she got more conditioned
yeah,
to the event and all the rest of it, she could then put herself in the position to be able to she had the tactical knowledge, but just didn't have the physical ability to match.
Yeah, that's
Which,
true.
yeah.
I would definitely put Vix in there. Yeah, sorry, Vix. Yeah, she is overall a very intelligent racer and an intelligent human, to be fair.
Yeah.
I've said before that if you asked her about your any life advice, she'd just tell you the right advice.
You trust it.
Yeah, I think so. Her and Non, to be fair, both of them. They are very switched on.
Yeah.
And triathlon wise, I didn't see Vancouver because I have no internet.
Yeah, but I had no signal, so I didn't watch. I was just kind of tracking along and watching the results come in. But it was a good for the Brits with Kate and G on the podium.
Yeah.
Kate's first race back, wasn't it, post injury?
Yeah, I think so. Since because she came back injured again, same injury. That's right, isn't it? But she didn't do. She did shorter stuff in between potentially. I can't remember. And it's tricky, isn't it? Being in the middle, trying to get into the women's short course as well for LA. God, and then you get injured. It's stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, the point we spoke about that last week, didn't we, with Sam on the whole points?
Yeah, it's
side
like
of things.
Usual injuries are bad enough, but then when you've got other competition, you can't even get in races. It's really stressful.
Yeah.
Because but British Triathlon do seem to sometimes allow some athletes back in. But defense. But yeah, it was good to see them racing. And G, she's been at altitude, I think. Yeah, she has. Yeah. And what was I going to say? Because I loved Vancouver. We had such a good time there.
That was where the orcas were, wasn't it, as well?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. They were there after us.
Yeah, you literally just got out of the water and then a pod came in.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Which is incredible, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. In a race, I probably wouldn't even notice them. I think I were on Lucy. Did Lucy race? Oh my God, I can't even remember who came out of the water or anything. But anyway, I did enjoy Vancouver. It was a good course. And passing the baton. So I came third and she came third, didn't she? But we liked mainly just the surroundings and being in Vancouver. It were good, apart from the flight there. And it was good to see Lucy Byron back after, obviously not the ending to the race she wanted with the DNF, but I think just travelling out there, getting a race under a belt, going through the motions of it all. Because like a year ago, it was such a great time. With Sam there, and we had such good fun, and it must have brought back a lot of memories for her. So she's still plowing away, dealing with such a stressful time and dealing with it so well, and being able to get back racing after a real difficult injury. It's not an easy injury to get over either. So it was great to see her back on the start list. So hopefully she can continue and get through some more of the tours. What's next?
Yeah. Don't they go over to the Middle East?
Yeah, which is kicking off again, isn't it? It is though, isn't it?
It doesn't look great.
Settling down, it's settling down. Because we were like up and down with our bloody mortgage rates. So we're like, oh God, it's bloody... I mean, there's more. There's more important things going on in the world than my mortgage rate, but still, it was affecting me.
Sat sweating, thinking, "Oh no!"
Yeah, it's like he's invaded again. Oh no. But anyway, yeah. What else have you got to chat to me about?
The other thing which is worth a mention, and we will get her on the podcast to discuss in more detail, is that Lucy Gossage announced her next big challenge last week. So I just can't even fathom or get my head around what she's taking on. But effectively, she is looking to do what she's termed the longest lap. So she's doing a lap on foot around the British coastline. So Scotland, Wales and England. I think she's doing Scotland first. in order to raise money for Move Against Cancer, which is her charity, and also just have a massive adventure. So she's given herself 6 months to do it, and I just think it's utterly bonkers, but also what an adventure.
I remember talking to her about it when we were running, God, weeks ago now, wasn't it? When we did that lakes thing, and it sounds daunting, but also so exciting. You know, she's really looking forward to. Although she says she's like a bit of an introvert, she's actually looking forward to seeing people on the way and meeting people at Airbnbs or whatever, which is quite fun, isn't it? But at the same time, I just think, God, it's a long time.
Can you imagine? She's going to spend, I was thinking about this the other day when I was in the Peaks, she's going to spend 6 months not really using a washing machine or really cooking meals for herself. You know, just the day-to-day stuff, going to the supermarket, all those kind of like mundane things which give you a sense of, I don't know, just like normality and structure. She's not going to have any of that. And I know that sounds really boring, but I also think if you were 6 months just in the wilderness, you would be looking forward to meeting Betty from the Airbnb, you know?
Yeah, you would. That's so true. She's going to be living on the road for so long.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And there is going to be stretches where she's going to be hating life.
Yeah.
When does she actually start?
I think she's looking at March, April next year.
Okay, so that's quite good. So she's getting Scotland at a good period.
Yeah, trying to get ahead of the midges and enough of time out of winter so that it's not Scotland.
Real hard going. It could, the way that the weather's going, right? It could be really hard if she did that this year.
Yeah, it's true.
She'd be like a dehydrated prune, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Or maybe a dehydrated grape, raisin. But anyway, she would be really dehydrated. It'd be technically a lot harder, I reckon.
Yeah.
But the likelihood of us having another summer similar next year,
I think it's fairly on the cards, to be fair. Which will be all part of the challenge. But yeah, anybody that's interested, she's got a website, thelongestlap.com. Go and have a look. And she's currently looking for brand partnerships. So if there's anybody listening that thinks they'd like to get behind it and sponsor her, then yeah, get in touch.
Yeah, or who lives on the route. As long as you're not a psycho.
Psychos not accepted.
I don't know how. It's like, are you a robot? When you got to click on that, it's like, are you a psycho? But I mean, I wonder if the calf injury has played on her mind, because she's been the most injury-free human that we've ever known, as we've said. But I was thinking about it though. Even the calf injury, she won't even off that long.
No, I know.
So even if that happens again in the 6 months period, she'll just be behind a few days and that's it. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I can't foresee any issues at all. Because even if
she does have a quite remarkable body that just
like healing
heals incredibly well and can tolerate so much load and fatigue.
She's not on peptides, is she?
No, I think you could guarantee that she's the cleanest athlete out there. Just has, and just people just have have just made for what they do. It's
There's quite a few of them. It's really irritating, actually.
It really is. Yeah, it is. It's not all humans are created equal, and never has there been a greater example.
Exactly. And that brings us fairly nicely onto this week's topic. In a way, it got me thinking about social media. And I think we'll be talking about social media for the next however long. I just think even bringing up a child in this new social media life is quite scary. You think bringing them up when they're little and keeping them alive is hard work, but I think when they get to school and there's social media, it's going to be very tricky. And it just made me think how we're influenced by social media, which we will be all subconsciously,
Yeah.
because we spend so much time on it. But also, is it in a positive way or negative way, or a bit of both? Which I probably think it's going to be a bit of both. But in my mind, I think a lot of social media discussions are usually around the negative side of it, and it was quite interesting putting out that story on our social media and actually getting a bit of positivity, because I presumed a lot of people would see it being slightly negative. But actually we got quite a bit of both, didn't we, on the responsive, and quite a lot of responses actually, surprisingly.
Yeah. It was pretty popular on the responses front for sure. And similar to you, it did surprise me the amount of people that were able, like, voice that they use social media as a way of motivation. But I think, there was also a good proportion of people that said yes, they were influenced by it for various different reasons. And I think probably the where I would most gravitate towards in assuming the impact of social media, Mackie Roberts wrote in and said she's influenced by people posting hero sessions and can make me think my long sessions aren't long enough. And it's not so much about how I train, but how I view it. And also, people posting things that make training seem easier, or performance seem easier than what it is. I did this session, and all of a sudden I went from a 20-minute 5K runner to a sub 17 5K runner, and it down to this one simple thing. I think that type of messaging can definitely influences people, whether that be like a conscious or subconscious thing.
Yeah, I think it is really interesting, and I do think people like Goss, for example, I think she maybe or maybe not, but her doing those types of events can motivate other people to do mental things.
Yeah.
That's what encourages people to do it. Because if there was no social media, then would you be seeing somebody doing the whole of England or doing this other mad thing? Whereas when you're subjected to it all the time, it then can give you ideas that maybe I can do it as well, and it gives you motivation. But at the same time, I do worry sometimes for people that, like we've discussed already on the podcast today, we're all so different, and some people are really good at recovery and heal really quickly, and others don't. So you all have to do different things. Whereas if you get to a certain point certainly in endurance sport, you start to have to look into things more. So you do, I don't know, an 80-20, and you do a bit of sessions, etc. You start improving, you get better, and you start to stagnate. And then that becomes the point where you potentially get a coach, or you try different intervals and different things to see how your body responds. But then if you add that in and you don't have the coach, and you've just got so much information out there that you can be influenced by, it can be a very confusing place. And again, like we discussed with Sam, it's so hard to just stay in your own lane. And I think that's not only, I think it's bad, it can be detrimental for elite athletes, but everybody, all of us can also be susceptible to it. And I think I have in my career, looking at what other people are doing, and then you question your own training. Certainly if you've not had a few good races or whatever. And you end up going down rabbit holes, and actually it makes things worse. But how do you stop it? Because you can be just influenced by everything you see.
I think that actually in the endurance space, one of the things that I see influences people most is not necessarily Instagram, but it's Strava. The amount of people that troll through other people's Stravas and pull information. And once you kind of start seeing things, you start to look for the things that you want to see rather than the whole picture. So, you see someone do an amazing session and then you'll naturally gravitate towards all their amazing sessions without having the context of how they're spacing them and when they're doing them and what they're like, what sits beneath that. But yeah, I think Strava has a massive influence. And I think ultimately all that stuff is good as long as you have like a human sounding board, like someone that you could have a conversation with and go, I'm thinking about this, what do you think about it? It can be a coach, but it can also just be a friend or someone that knows you pretty well and just balances out. I think that's social media for me is definitely like can lead you down rabbit holes, and then you end up with a very kind of like narrow view on a specific training method or session type or carbon shoes or whatever it is. So often I think you need pulling out the rabbit hole, which I don't think social media does for you. That it'll just plummet you further in.
Yeah, and it's a bit like Bethany. She said, "No, I trust my coach and don't care what others are doing," which we've discussed many times, and it's a very good trait to have because even if you listen to other podcasts if you listen to every elite athlete go on a podcast talking about the training, how different is every single athlete pretty much in the way that they go about things. Some might be only on heart rate, some might be do power, some say that they do RPE, but it's only a snippet of how they perceive their training as well. Because I would say I probably didn't do a lot on heart rate, but I did use heart rate as well sometimes, but I never really solely focused on it. So it's not something I would discuss. But at the same time, you would use a bit of all three, because sometimes you might be tired, dehydrated, hot. There's so many things that can affect everything that you use, your heart rate, your perception, and you have to use a bit of everything. Whereas I think sometimes you listen to podcasts, you think, or you see something on social media that say you've got to use this, then you think, oh, I better do that then. And then it sways the way you're thinking. Whereas sometimes if you just stick to the plan, you're going to be better off. But doing that is extremely hard because the amount of clickbait there is with people saying this is how you get this fit, and I only ever, I don't know, use this power or whatever it is, and it's can be really misleading and confusing.
We did have a good proportion of people. So we had Sailbird, Bethany Scarlett, Mark Davis Try, Rowena Rogers 62, all basically saying that they're not influenced by what they see on social media, and if anything, it causes them to do the opposite. So if they saw a trend on social media, that they would kind of be like, well, no, I'm going to do the opposite to that, which is quite interesting. That like I say, that was there's an equal amount of people messaging in going, yes, I follow people on social media. I find it motivating what they put up, and it inspires me to do more. But yeah, to be not influenced at all by it, I find fascinating, because I think how do you escape it, even if you think you're not being influenced? Yeah,
and especially when you've got an interest in it. So you've got an interest in improving yourself and trying to find out different ways to go about that. And then if you've got something telling you constantly to do this, do that. But it's the people that on social media, they're so confident about it, that they say stuff like you've got to breathe every 2 for a triathlon or whatever, and breathing every 3 is not efficient or whatever. And I just think, God, when I'm swimming, I don't even know what I'm breathing. In the pool I'll probably breathe bilaterally, but it's never affected me. And so but then somebody will read that or look into that thinking, right, I'm going to have to do that to get to where I need to be, because that person's so confident in the way that they deliver their little snippet. And you think, then people can get hung up on a certain thing, and then that's it. They just feel like they can never sway away from it. Whereas actually, there is about 1 million ways to skin a cat. We know that in all of the science, everybody has a different opinion on everything.
I think that's one of the things I really dislike. Like social media, I think is brilliant, but it's one of the things I really dislike is that kind of clickbait. Do this one session, or you know, use this pair of trainers and it'll transform your running. That type of stuff is actually one of the motivators for doing this podcast, because I think from everything on social media, and we're becoming more and more accustomed to like short snippets of things. We want everything instantly. You lose everything's kind of portrayed in such a black and white way. Do it this way, don't do this. And you lose the nuance and the kind of the fact that you can skin a cat in many different ways. But I do. My social media is predominantly full of either pets, dogs in particular, or running routes, like, or campsites. Like that. You go on my feed, it's like, go visit this campsite, go try this run route. That's I don't tend.
So you're not getting it. That's why you spent the whole bloody summer in your van. You are getting influenced.
Big time.
You've got a dog.
Yeah, literally. My dog is currently scratching to go out. Hang on.
Mine's gone back to like beastie waves again. I just get fed that, and I just, for some reason, I just can't pass it. You know, when you're seeing someone going for the duck dive, and it's like God knows how many foot wave, and you just think they're not going to, and then you just see them come down and the tumble of it, they're like they roll over it, and they put a little circle around it saying that's the human.
That's what your social media is full of.
That's a lot of mine's on that, and Leeds United, I get quite a lot of that, and baby stuff now, a lot of pregnancy stuff. So not so much triathlon training nowadays, but soon there'll be loads of swimming tips for me. How to get these bingo wings.
After talking about it here, the algorithm will be working in the background.
I'll be
you definitely
doing handstands on a wobbly board or something, you know, one of those electric things that people say turn you. Be like, get these arms going. I'll be looking for all the secrets.
I do love, there's a woman I follow on social media, and I forget her name now, but she's an older lady. She's kind of in her 70s, and she runs, and she talks about like functional strength and you know the need
seen her.
And I love her. I'm like, let's go.
Because she does loads of weights that help her in her general life, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Someone else has posted that, and I saw it, and I thought, that's quite good. That
I'll be taking.
We all
tips.
need a bit of that.
Yeah.
I certainly do. Well, I'll keep you informed about the comeback, and maybe I'll put it on Instagram.
We need this documented, don't we?
I'll say have 7 months out of the pool, you'll be back in 2.
Follow this simple session. It'll turn you from.
I'll have a look back actually at those sessions that I did at the pool. I'll have them. You know, when you thought were a psycho.
Yeah.
I'll have those on Training Peaks. I'll add it.
Yeah, we can we'll post them up. Have a crack at this.
Yeah. Try this after 4 weeks out of the pool.
Next week we have a guest, don't we? We have a returning guest.
Next week we do have a guest, yeah. And we've got another one in the pipeline, but I'm not very organised enough. But yes, we do definitely have a guest next week. So tell us more. So
Sam, who was the crazy man, turned into the Iron Man, is now returning to the podcast because over the last few months, and part of the reason why at times this podcast may have felt a bit disorganised and life in general
What
has
do you
been a
mean?
bit disorganised. Um, we've been beavering away in the background, haven't we? Essentially, working as a three to create a triathlon community, which we'll speak more about and in extensive detail next week. But yeah, it's been really exciting working together and building something that hopefully people will use and engage with, and will just enhance their triathlon experience is what I'd say. But yeah, I don't really want to like go into like real big detail because I think we'll dedicate a whole podcast to it. But it's been fun.
Everyone will be like, God, I'm not downloading next week's. Christ.
Yeah, it's going to
No,
be
it's
harping on.
exciting. I think it's just an extension of this podcast, hopefully. That the joy that we get from our little podcast community and how we hope, as we've discussed on this episode, how we hope that it's a bit more normality in a what can be a mad world of triathlon, and bringing people together in a time where sometimes you don't have a lot of communication with people. Certainly now with AI and things like that, I think we need more communities, and it's what we've spoke about a lot on the podcast, and what it usually returns to that people thrive on and people get a lot out of is enjoying journeys with other people, as Sam has and as we have in our careers as well. So it's been really exciting. It's been quite refreshing for me as well, and it's been a bit full on as well, but like I said, we're very excited about it, and it'd be quite good to talk through it.
Really enhanced skills that I never ever thought in my life I would be needing or developing, or you
have excelled, Beth. You have been the forefront person.
I don't think so. I don't, but it's been we've done a few days, haven't we, where we were just like, this was not on our bingo card for 2026.
No, and that's the thing, and it's really bizarre how, I don't know, you just get amongst different people and you come up with an idea, and it might work, it might not work, and people might like it, they might not like it, but I think people will like it, and I think it's a good idea, and hopefully it is successful and people get a lot out of it, and we'll soon find out, because we're hoping to launch it at some point. Maybe pre-baby, maybe post-baby.
Yeah, launching mid-September. We're working around the baby at the moment, but at the moment it's kind of mid to late September.
The good thing about the babies are they sleep a lot, so we'll be fine. It's in a year's time where I'll be like tearing my hair out. Hopefully it's a sloth-like baby. That would be ideal. Anyways, so next week, guest. That's it. We'll be back. No more breaks. I'll have Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
We'll be refreshed, ready to go.
We'll be on it. So yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.